I'm Ryan for Ryan's Guitar Stuff, and today's video is again one of them videos that I did when I first started the channel, but I haven't done since. But I'm getting back to it. So this video is again one of these do your own discretion of videos. Don't follow my advice. I am only doing this as a way of showing you can do it this way, and if you can do it this way, and if you can't, you can't. I finished this recently. This is my fretted bass, and I love it. Notice how I said fretted, because personally I prefer fretless basses, and yeah, so that's the premise for this video, making this fretless. So things you'll need for doing this, I'm not going to be like getting specialist tools and all that, because I want to try and keep costs low, but I will state everything you need here, because I'll be editing this when it's done basically. And yeah, basic stuff like blades, pliers, and wood filler. I'm not going to be using veneer, because it is a pain to find veneer where I live for some reason. So yeah, I'm going to start doing this. So as you can see, I'm taking out all the frets. I'll put down the frets in my hand. I'm ripping out the frets with a bit bohemian blade. I'm using this because I don't want to buy fret puller to do this. I have a pliers in case some of them are hard to pull out and I have to rip them out. You can see kind of when I was polishing the frets, some of the rubbing compound got stuck underneath the frets. So you can kind of see that yellow material on the fretboard, like it looks like an oil, just a little bit of liquid that got underneath and dried. So, and sorry for the noise of the chair. So you can see me ripping out all the frets, and I did cut myself while doing this in my thumb. And this is the next day, and instead of using veneer, because it's very hard to get where I live, for some reason, I started using wood filler. I found that the wood filler was actually quite good, because it turned out that when it dried it was very similar in colour to the inlays. And the best thing about the wood filler is when you're ripping out the frets, it will cause some chips to come out. It will cause chips because of the barbs on the frets, couldn't think of the word. So this would actually just fill in the barbs with the little chips that the barbs caused, and just fill all that in. So it's actually just a nice level board in a sense. This was the longest bit, and this took about 20 minutes to do in total. I have this sped up to 1000% just to save time, as all this. In total, this whole procedure of taking out the frets, putting in the wood filler, and sanding and everything took about an hour in total. But yeah, it's a really nice thing if you want to do it and to do it yourself. You can see that I use an awful lot of wood filler. The pure reason is that it's easier to sand back than to put too little in. The instructions recommend that you only go 5mm at a time when putting in the wood filler, and yeah, it's just really nice. Also, one other thing, you can see that I'm using a very light colour, and as I said, it dried out quite similar to the colours of the inlay. The reason I'm using the light colour is because I can actually see where the lines are, and it's easier to find your placement with lines than no lines in a sense. So that's what I did, and that's just quickly what it is. Next bit should be sanding. So as you can see, I moved out to my shed to sand off all the excess material. I'm using a level as a beam, so I don't make any divots in the fretboard itself, and I'll be back in a second. Yeah, so I don't make any divots in the frets. I'm using 40 grit sandpaper here, and to take off all the material for the excess putty, and then I'm just sanding off all the excess bits on the edge, because it doesn't really matter. I'm checking how straight the neck is, making sure that it's all level, and now I'm just going over with 240 grit, and then checking again to make sure there's no dead spots, or just that it's all flat in general. Then I'm going over with 400 grit just to give it the final sanding. Yeah, as you can see there, it's very smooth and flat. Now you can see here that I'm putting some lemon oil. I use the Axe Wax by Dr. Duck personally, just for the pure reason that it's in the jug, and if it's easy to apply in this kind of situation. So what I'm doing is taking a photo apparently. So yeah, I use the Axe Wax as mainly just a cleaner, because it is, but I use it just to take off all the sawdust and just get a clean board, because it's mainly mineral oil. That's what lemon oil mainly is. But I use it as a cleaning agent mainly, and you can see that I have some beeswax there. As I was saying, it's mainly mineral oil, so it's mainly just mineral oil is mainly a cleaner at the same time. Looking up a video apparently. So yeah, as you can see, I'm putting wax onto the fretboard now, because I like wax as a finish for rosewood fretboards. And yeah, it's easy enough. Just put it on, let it dry a little bit, and that's just me checking that it is waxed, so the water should repel, and just have it finished. And yeah, that's it, done. And put the nut back in, and then yeah, that's it. So you can see that was the video of it getting done in a sense. But yeah, it's nice, and I have it here strung up. The rest of that video was just me stringing it up. So I have it strung up here, and yeah, as you can see along the sides that I have the little line positions. I can see myself when I'm actually playing. And it's much nicer. There's a few things to do in playing the fretless that I've looked up in recent days, because I've been thinking about this for a while, and I just wanted to do a fretless. I want a fretless just for recording purposes. I prefer the sound and feel of fretless. A few other things I want to get round strings for this, because it's fretless now. And again, for the lines, it gives you a good position. Because if this was all one colour, like some fretless are, some aren't, some are. It's very hard to find your placement. The fretting of a bass, in a sense. I might do it to a guitar, because I want to experiment with an unfretted guitar, just for doing slides and all that kind of stuff. Because I love the video of Guthrie Govan demonstrating the Vigier unfretted fretless guitar. And I just like fretless instruments because it's just the sliding I prefer personally. So that might be a video I'll do in the future. But yeah, that's how I went about doing the defretting and filling the fret slots on my bass, and it works perfectly. So I've been Ryan from Ryan's Guitar Stuff, and see you in the next video. Bye.